Hang on. I feel like I could throw up at any minute, so we're getting through this, and I'm gonna hope to God that a distraction is enough. By the way, if you hear any heavy drilling, I don't actually know what Thomas is doing. I think he's doing something in the baby's room, paddling, I think. So anyway, I don't know what he's actually. It must be sawing, not drilling, but it's very electrical sounding. But yeah, it's Spagball and I can't get on at the minute. It makes me so sick, and I don't know why that's. Well, I do know. No, I don't. There must be something in it that my pregnancy is like, no. Also, really struggle to like the baby now moves and I can feel it. And I'm sat still, but my body is moving. Do you know what I mean? And I find that makes me feel sick as well. I'm like, I don't know how you get used to it. The used to the feeling of something inside you wobbling around. I'm like, makes me feel like, oh, I can't, you know, when you can't control your own body, even though it's not my body moving, it's its body, but it's my body. It's strange, very strange. So that makes me feel sick as well. It is like an alien in my body, Cat. Yeah, it's like something just wibbling around, and it's horrible, horrible feeling. So yeah, can't imagine that's fun to get used to, but we will. Right. I am going to hit the share button. Anyone can hop in, obviously, if they're hopping late. As always, any questions, anything you want to add or ask or anything, just pop them in the chat box and then we'll come back to them at the end. Hang on. I'm going to burp through this the whole way and I apologize. And I had to try not to do it out loud so none of you think, oh, that's disgusting. But it like repeats on me. Right, so we're going to do sleep and recovery. And this is enormous, by the way. I've talked about it before, and I will continue to bang the drum on just how important sleep is to every single part of your journey, be it strength training, be it fat loss, be it muscle building, like all of these pieces, it is integral. But before we do, Michelle, 3 stone gone for good. That's impressive. That is no small amount of body fat to have gone, and that's incredible. And I still remember the first Zoom that I did with Michelle. And to be honest, she was very much like, I'm all in. I'm all in because what she wanted was something that she could stick to, something that was not going to be the typical yo-yo, the tried slimming world, all of this. And it was like, this has to be something that actually works. And you could tell mentally she was just so invested in doing this for herself and for her children, but for herself, like that feeling of going, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen as long as it's the right thing. And I was like, try it. You're going to love it. And here we are, 3 stone later, which is again fucking impressive. Angela, first park run ever. I mean, you all know you're not likely to see Coach Cat and I running very far anytime soon, but if you guys love it, and some of you guys do love it, and if it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, if it's doing something you've never done before, all of these things, 1000% here for. So, excuse me, absolutely amazing. And you should be really proud of that, Angela. I also wanted to shout out Ali. Ali is the consistency queen of Badge of Honor. Like, I've made this up, by the way, it doesn't exist. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I probably have. There's probably a handful of women that I work with that are just silently beavering away in the background. Like, I rarely ever hear from. And I'm not saying that we don't ever want to hear from anyone because obviously we do. We want to coach you. But this is just someone. And I looked at, and I nearly actually screenshotted it, and I thought that's probably not fair for you to see all of her data. But I thought, I don't know that I've ever seen somebody as consistent every single damn week, ticking all of the boxes, like literally, and the way the body fat moves every single week in the right trajectory. And again, Ali was somebody when I hopped on a Zoom with. I think it might have been Undies. I might have got that wrong, but Ali, I'm sure, was referred into the program by one of you guys. And she was very much like, my friend is doing this. I'm really worried about doing this because what if I can't succeed at this? And what if it doesn't go to plan and all of this? And it's like she's just fucking proven like if you do the work, it works. And if you work well with us, I don't think she's ever missed a check-in. Just ticks all of the boxes, does all of the work, and you just think like it is impressive. It really, really is. But again, as a reminder, please do reach out to us if you are struggling and if you don't need any additional support and you're quite happy ticking boxes. Tick boxes, do you know what I mean? We obviously want to see you check in so we can see this, but please, if that's not what's happening and you are feeling any kind of way, or you need to ask questions about your program, you want form checks, you want nutritional advice, or you've gone on a binge eating, whatever it might be, please reach out to us because then we can actually get involved a lot faster than just waiting. And also, massive shout out to every single one of you guys for turning up to the Zooms as well, because again, knowledge is power. The more you can arm yourself with that, and the more you can surround yourself with like-minded women who are doing the thing that you want to be doing, it's always going to serve you well, isn't it? And I will always do my best, even amongst like the darkest hours of feeling really sicky. I'm always going to try and turn up with as much energy and as much enthusiasm to this as I possibly can. Now, put it in the chat. Has everyone seen the motherfucking sunshine in the last week? Has everybody actually seen a bit of ball of yellow? And I really hope everybody says yes because it's not been much fun, has it? We have, yes, has everyone seen some sunshine? And I think this is it, yeah. So I think tomorrow, apart from if you're up north in Scotland, unfortunately, I think the rain that we've had this afternoon is coming your way. But I do think, yeah, it feels like, and I've had this conversation with a few women today, like how sad people feel. And I think genuinely as a coach, I think this is the hardest winter we've ever had inside of the Strong Her program, where it has felt like people have been struggling. And I get it because I've been there as well. When we landed from Norway on Saturday into torrential fucking rain, I was like, oh God, take me back. Take me back. Like, I can't do this again. Like, why do we live here? But it feels like we are turning a corner slowly, but kind of days are coming. So we just have to hang on in there, guys. Hang on in there. So, sleep. Let's start with the strength training side. So, what actually happens when you sleep? So, deep sleep is actually the most powerful sleep that you can go into in terms of your muscle growth, repair, and like recovery, that side of things. So, you can get like 8 hours sleep solid. But if you don't drop into a deep sleep, which we don't need a huge amount of every single night, but if we don't end up dropping into that deep sleep phase, you might still wake up the next day feeling like, God, why do I feel like I've been hit by a bus? Like, I feel like I got like 8 hours sleep last night. But if you didn't actually get deep sleep, that's where the recovery stages might just not kick in. So we want that stages 3 and 4. And essentially what the body's doing is releasing the growth hormone, which is essential for that muscle recovery. So cortisol, like which is the stress hormone, we also see a reduction in cortisol when we're actually getting good sleep, and poor sleep is going to increase the stress hormone, which again is leading to that fat retention and slower recovery. So this is a big one with the perimenopausal ladies. This is the big one with the women, like I mentioned in the video this morning. Some of you guys have got young children who are not yet in like a decent sleep pattern. So you might be getting quite disturbed sleep. I'm quite sure I'm going to be joining a lot of you. So I'm going to get a real taste of this towards the summer months. So I'll be right in the thick of it with you guys. But this is it. All of those things are vital. And we used to foolishly let the dogs sleep in our bed, and Thomas nearly did it last night. He brought the dogs into our room. Admittedly, we went to bed at 7 p.m., which allow my life. I just can't make it much later these days. But 7 p.m. we went to bed, and Thomas was like, oh, just let the dogs sleep with us for a bit. And I was like, that's a hard no. If you do that, they're going to be waking me up all night. And if I go to bed at 7 p.m. and we woke up, I think, just gone 6, I was like, do you know what I mean? You're defeating the object of me trying to get an early night's sleep. So I was like, please take the dogs. They've got their own bedroom. They're okay. They've got each other. They're not on their own. Like, it's okay. And he was like, "Oh, that's really sad. Right, I'm going to take them and I'm going to go and sleep in the other room with the dog." So I was like, "You do you, honey, if that's what you want to do, but that life's not for me." So set your fucking boundaries as well. Do you know what I mean? Even if somebody wants you to sleep with the dogs, I can assure you it's not a good idea. But what we want is that ATP, your body's energy currency for muscle contractions, replenishing overnight so that you can actually fuel your next sessions. This is the other reason why we try and aim for a rest day between those sessions or a training split that allows muscle recovery as well. Your immune system. Ever notice when you feel run down? Ever notice when you're like I'm coaching some women at the moment who are in a bit of fight or flight mode with their nervous system? And they're about to go away. And I actually coach them through saying, look, like I would get the vitamin C inside of you so fast right now because you're going away next week. Your body's going to go, I'm relaxed. And then your immune system is going to get hit by a bus and you're probably going to get sick. So these are the other things. A lot of you guys are fighting off a lot of sickness still, even at this point. Like I said it to Coach Kat in the meeting this morning, like we've still got a lot of illnesses inside of the program. Illness does correlate highly with high achieving women because, again, you're in that fight or flight immune system phase. So, sleep again comes down to it. Being able to actually let your body get the damn thing that it needs is vital here. So, when you sleep, different sleep stages will play a different role in that muscle recovery, energy restoration, and overall performance. But the most important stage is that deep sleep stages 3 and 4 for the muscle recovery. So, how long do we spend in a deep sleep? So, the first half of the night is usually the most deep sleep. So, any of you guys that have got a what do you call it? One of those rings, Lumi? Luna? No, that's not it. You know the rings I'm talking about. Aura? Whatever it's called, one of them, a Whoop. I used to track all of my data with a Whoop. That obviously there's different things available. I think even the Apple watches can do it a little bit these days. But we want that 20 to 25% of total sleep. That's ideally what we want. Now, if we cut it short, we might miss out on that essential phase. And if you wake up frequently or we're disrupting those sleep cycles, we're again going to be reducing those benefits. So anybody wanting to try, like I say, there are different, I know some of you guys were talking about it in the Strong Her chat the other day. There are lots of options available. Like just do your research. It's going to come down to your budgets, all of these different things. But it is, I think I used my Whoop for about a year. I didn't feel like I needed to pay for it after that. I was like, I feel like I can understand my body and I can read it well enough now. But it is good for those of you who are highly serious. So what happens if you don't get enough deep sleep? Well, we're not going to recover as well. So less growth hormone, less muscle repair. Higher injury risk. This is another one. If you know your sleep is on the floor, then you might want to think about doing a deload session, which is essentially where you strip the weight back. So you deliberately don't train as close to failure. Or you might want to consider having another rest day. Like your training can wait if you feel like you're on the floor energetically, make the decision to have another rest day and just tell us, I needed another rest day. Do you know what I mean? That's what I decided. Weaker. You're going to be weaker. You'll notice this again. The women that have natural cycles inside the program, you'll notice those peaks and dips depending on the hormones going through your body. But lack of sleep can also do this as well. When your ATP isn't fully restored, you are going to feel a lot weaker. Cravings and fat retention. So this is a big one. So if you have a lack of sleep and you are going about the day exhausted, and you will know about this because I mean, I'm not even a coffee drinker, and if I'm obviously pregnant, caffeine is like in the bin. We're not really allowed it, which is like fucking hell, the one thing that could help, and we can't have it. But you'll notice that you reach for that coffee, you reach for those energy drinks, like whatever your vice is, you will start to think there's no way I can get through the day without this. And you're going to be putting a huge amount of caffeine into your body, which again is going to reduce the efficiency of what your body can do. And it's not actually hydrating you, it's not doing any of the good stuff. But you will also notice that you are becoming a snacky Sally. You want to, do you know what I mean, be a bit more of a carby Barbie, or you want to pick up the sweets or the chocolates or the biscuits or some of the things that in an ideal world, when you've got good sleep and you're well rested and recovered, you're not going to pick up. When obviously all of these things are on the floor, that sweet tooth is really going to come out to play. So it is going to make fat loss harder. It definitely is. And this is again why we ask you to rate these things inside of your check-in so we can see overall how well are you functioning as a human being. So mental fatigue and mood swings. Who's been a stroppy chops? You know what I mean? When you're hangry because your cortisol is higher and you're not well fueled, you're not well rested. So then you become an irritable little monster. And it's not much fun, is it? Brain fog. So some of you guys, again, in the kind of world of the perimenopause, if you're not well rested and you're not getting good sleep, you're likely to have some brain fog in there as well. So if we can tackle the sleep, we can probably tackle some of the brain fog as well. And low motivation, not feeling like you want to go to the gym. And if you have these days where you go, I really can't be bothered to get out of bed, that's another feeling of going, I just don't feel well enough rested. So how much time do we need to spend asleep? Now, I think you will all know. You will have a good idea of yourself in this situation. Now, women do typically need more sleep than men. We have significantly higher hormonal fluctuations than a man will ever have. So it's one of those things where we do typically need more sleep. But it is really interesting because there is a lot of data to say when you become a mom, you typically need less sleep because, again, your nervous system is rewired and attached to then going, I've got to keep something else alive over and above myself. That suddenly becomes a priority over me. So you might find that you actually don't need as much sleep as somebody that hasn't had children or as what you did pre having children. But I would say less than 6 hours, unless you are a machine and you genuinely think, yeah, I can get by, that's a bit of a risk. That's a bit of a, you've got to start looking at that. And we really want to start trying to bring that up. Like for me, I would say I'm definitely an 8 to 9 hours pregnant. It's horrendous. Like I say, I could fall asleep at 7 p.m. in the evening and I can wake up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I can get a solid 12 hours and I still wake up feeling like that's just not enough, which is great fun. But ideally, you want to track this for yourselves. You want to kind of go, right, okay, what works for me? But I mean, how many hours do you think you guys are sleeping at the minute? Like, how many hours do you feel like you actually need at the moment? I can't actually work out how. Oh, there it is, the chat. Here we go. 7 hours a night. Da, da, da. 7.5 hours minimum to function. This is it. So again, like between 7 and 8 hours usually. So everyone's kind of feeling in that kind of 7 to 8. That's kind of like the nice bracket. 6 to 7, slightly lower one. Anything between 6, 7. So feel like we've got to do it now, haven't we? That's annoying. I spent all week with a goddamn nephew as a teenager. It's like 6, 7. How annoying. But yeah, there you go. I've done it for all of you just in case, so now your kids don't have to. But this is it. It's learning what works for you. And what works for you. I wouldn't be great at 6 hours. I would be a hungry little bitch and I'd be awful. And I'd probably need to hide myself away for the day. But if that's okay and you feel okay with it, that's absolutely fine. I also think I'd probably say like your output will also have a play in this. So for instance, if you are like I used to work as an example, as a soil health specialist and worked really closely with agronomists. So we were walking fields all day long when I worked in the corporate world. Like we're always moving, walking fields, like presentations. But then there'd be days where I was traveling the country. So I could go from Scotland to Portsmouth in like a couple of days. Like that would be. And then obviously my energy output is different because one time when you're driving a lot, you're mentally tired. But when you're walking fields, you're physically more tired and burning more energy that way. So it can also depend on what you're doing for a living. That can make a massive difference to you guys as well. So, as I said, it is scientifically proven. So, if you ever have a man tell you that you know you require the same amount of sleep, they're full of shit. It's not true. You do need more. Um, So women's brains actually use more energy than men's, which means we need more sleep for cognitive recovery. And I find it really interesting. There was a study done recently as well about like women in the average household take on like, I think it's something like 20% more. Bearing in mind they work full time as well. So these are full-time working women, but they take on 20% more of the things and the stuff that are required around the house. And that might be making sure children get to school on time, getting them dressed in the morning. It might be putting together a shopping list. It might be physically doing the shopping. It might be doing the laundry. It might be cleaning the house. It could all of these different things. But if you're actively doing 20% more than your counterpart, you're going to be tired. You're going to need more rest. But I also think, fuck that. Have the conversation, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the 21st century. We're all working women inside of this program. So split your chores. And any man that fucking folds laundry, you've got your washing line who fold it over. No, they're full of shit. Pull them out on it. I'm like, no, we're not having this. You know how to peg up your laundry correctly without folding it in half and putting the pegs on. Don't accept it. But menstrual cycles, pregnancy, menopause, all of these things affect sleep. It's harder for women to get that uninterrupted rest. Progesterone, estrogen impact REM sleep as well. So body temperature regulation and overall sleep stability. And again, as any parent, oh my God, my words, perimenopausal women will know about the hot flushes, night sweats, insomnia, and disrupted sleep cycles as well. So it's not much fun at that point. Now, again, I would definitely be saying have those conversations with your doctor as well if you are in that position. If your hormonal replacement therapy is not maybe quite right, these are conversations that again they can help you actually have as well. Hunger. So sleep deprivation it's basically it's going to spike the hunger hormone and it's also reducing the fullness hormone. So your body's not going to register and your brain isn't going to notice that actually I've eaten and I'm feeling full. It's more likely to keep going. Like a hangover is another one that can do this, where you feel like you just can't get satisfied and you want to eat all of the shit and the stuff. Like it almost is. It's very similar that sleep deprived kind of going through the motions like as a you just feel like you're dragging yourself through the day. It is very similar to being like really hungover as well. So cravings, like I said, the carby barbie and the sugar. And it is because you're desperate for that quick energy. You're quick energy, but all that's going to happen is you're going to get the energy and then you're going to crash. Same as like going for the caffeine as well. Big caffeine spike, crash. Caffeine spike, crash. Not doing yourselves any favors. So it is also going to reduce the calorie burn by around 5 to 20% if you have chronic sleep deprivation. So again, it is not good for many sides of this coin that we actually want to try and do. So if fat loss has stalled, and I genuinely believe you're logging, you're tracking your carbs, all of these different things are accurate and correct, we are going to start looking at the sleep. That is going to be the next best thing. So hitting the snooze button essentially is destroying your brain and your productivity. It's so fucking easy, isn't it? These modern phones, like everyone used to have an alarm clock. We don't do that anymore. We actually just hit like on our phone and the snooze button sits, I think it's above it, is it? Is it above it or below it? I feel like it's above it. But it's so easy because to turn my alarm off, you have to swipe. But the snooze button, I think you only have to press it. You don't even have to swipe that one. It's just a tick. And it's like, oh, it's so easy to be done. But I promise you, when you allow your brain to start dropping back into a sleep cycle and you wake it up after 9 minutes again, the evidence suggests that you're killing your productivity for as much as half a working day. So 4 hours, and that's just one snooze. One snooze is enough to disrupt your natural brain energies for 4 hours. So don't do it, is my advice. Like it's not going to help you out. So what it's doing is creating a mental state in your brain called sleep inertia. So it does have a name. So when we go to bed, we're sleeping in those 90 to 110 minute sleep cycles. So when your alarm goes off, your brain goes, I'm awake. We're awake now. Come on, let's get up, bitch. And then you go, no, we're not going to do that. That's not what we want to do. It's putting your brain back into a sleep cycle, but you're not allowing it to actually do the entirety of that sleep cycle. So again, that's when you're going to get that groggy, mental, hungover kind of feeling of going, ugh, I really don't want to do this. So part of your brain is the part that is responsible for decision making, attention and alertness, self-control. That's what gets stuck in the sleep cycle. I can guarantee you, your managers, your stakeholders, whatever, whoever it is that's kind of above you in these positions, they won't really love this. They won't really love it if you're snoozing and you kind of think, right, okay, that attention, that alertness. And if you ever been in a meeting when the room's really warm and you haven't got the right amount of sleep, whoa, is that difficult? That's one of the hardest things on this earth to do. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So you've got to train yourself to become someone that doesn't use that snooze button. We're all busy. We're all high achieving women who want to kick ass at your job. So try and avoid doing it. Just don't move into that pattern. Mel Robbins is obviously a big one. There is a full book on this, an audio as well, if you want to listen to it. But the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 get up method. So the countdown, when you're stalling, delaying, you can use this if you're struggling to do your workout, struggling to get to the gym, need to get out in the rain and get some steps in, or even on the walking pad, anything you're delaying doing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 go. Do you know what I mean? That countdown, you can't count up, doesn't work. So you've got to do that. Put your phone at the other side of the room. So make yourself get up to get the phone. So you're already moving and up and about, and then you leave the room. Ideally, as well, cold glass of water, really, really good. So I've got my, oh, with my coaster attached, but I've got my glass of water here. Do you know what I mean? And like we've got one of those ice water dispenser things. Oh, godsend, godsend through pregnancy, let me tell you guys, that slaps. But this is it. You want a nice cold glass of water. And again, use an old school alarm clock. You don't have to use the modern method of phonage. You can absolutely go back to an alarm clock. So what other things would I say? So for me, some top tips on sleep are you want to try and go to sleep and wake up at pretty much the same time within reason every single day. Now, that's not always going to be possible, but a lot of the time it is. So for instance, weekends, some of you guys will be getting into the habit of you'll stay up later because it's almost like you get into this mindset of going, I don't want to go to sleep because if I go to sleep, I've lost me time. And again, especially if you've got young children and you put them to bed and they're being really difficult, you might think, no, I can't possibly go to bed now because if I do, I've had none of my own time. And I do get it. Alone time is still important to recharge your battery. But so is sleep. If you don't want to be a dickhead the next day, sleep is also going to be key. So, trying to go to bed and wake up at very similar times is really important. Now, one thing that I learned during pregnancy, because pregnancy insomnia is a big thing as well, that we can't necessarily control it. It is a little bit, unfortunately, like the perimenopause in that sense. But one of the things, I need to do a big yawn. Ah! I'm pretending I'm not, I'm doing it, I'm committing to the cause. But one of the things is it's hard to talk about sleep when you're knackered. I'm like, I'm ready to go to bed. But they very much teach you that even if you can't sleep, and I was explaining this to like a lady doing the reset challenge the other day, even if you can't sleep, just lay there. Lay there as uninterrupted rest, not on your phone. Don't get a Kindle out. Don't start reading a book. Don't start pottering around the house. Even if you wake up at, let's say, 4 o'clock in the morning and you think, well, I've got to be up at 5 anyway. We'll talk to the 5 a.m. clubbers. Or you wake up at 5 o'clock and you've got to be up at 6. And you lay there thinking, oh, fuck, should I just get up? No. Try and just accept defeat. So try and just say to yourself, I really can't sleep right now, but that's okay. Instead of sitting there saying, I can't sleep, I can't sleep. Oh my God, I'm going to be knackered. I'm going to be shattered. I'm not going to be able to be productive. Oh my God, I've got this meeting. Rah, 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 rah. Brain, brain, brain. Just say to yourself, I'm really struggling to sleep. but that's okay. And I'm just going to lay here and I'm just going to try and keep a quiet mind. And I'm almost going to try and just be in a meditational state. I'm just going to breathe in and breathe out. And I'm just going to try and keep myself as relaxed as I possibly can, even though I know I'm not asleep. And the reason for that is because it's not as good as sleep. It never will be. Like the human body is still designed to go to sleep. It won't be as good, but it is the second best thing. It is better than getting up and starting folding laundry or reading something, scroll holing. It's still better than all of those things to just stay calm and relaxed and as rested as you can be. There is still a small amount of recovery that can take place even while you're awake and just resting. So do that. Do you know what I mean? That is, even if you can't sleep, just accept defeat. Don't stress out about it. We've got to kind of release the tension because there is also a chance we might fall back to sleep. If we can try and stay as calm as possible, we might get back to sleep and get a little bit more. Magnesium can be a really good option. Now, I've been avoiding this one. Thomas is so hard all over this since he started his jujitsu and obviously his gym training. Like, it's quite intense, and his recovery just was not there. So he's had to try and do everything. I am a bit of a weirdo about putting anything into my body that is not organically there. I know that, like, and this is even more paramount now I'm pregnant, but supplements are obviously a little bit different. But I'm still a little bit like, if it's not already in, do I actually want to do it? Apart from the pregnancy supplements that you're meant to take, like vitamin D, because we don't see the fucking ball of yellow anytime. Uh, that one obviously I am taking. But this is it. Magnesium is an option. And like I explained this to the lady that was struggling to sleep the other day, and she actually said she had it last night and she did sleep better. And this is the thing, we've had it with, like, it is almost like half half whether people feel like it works or not. So it's not a guarantee, but it might help. But we have had women that are like, I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but it does seem to work. And then I've also coached a woman who she was such bad sleep, ended up on magnesium, so much better. And then she was suddenly in her check-ins like, my sleep's really bad. It's really bad. Oh my God. And I was like, have you stopped taking the magnesium? She was like, I have. I forgot. She was like, I ran out and I didn't replace it. And I was like, no, no. Maybe let's get back into that. And again, it could just be a placebo effect, like thinking that it's doing something. But if it works, fucking try it, take it. Do you know what I mean? Do it if that's what's going to work for you. And I think you can even get it in like a kind of low calorie hot chocolate form as well. So again, that kind of that way of doing it. Now, nighttime routine also really important. If you are on your phone scrolling, these have a blue light behind them, and that is going to keep you awake. Something like a Kindle is not blue light, so it's not going to be doing the same thing. TV, again, I'd probably say that one's okay, but still, you want to be trying to wind down, calm down, and get into a routine where you have some Zen time and not working until like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And occasionally we all have to do it, right? There are times of the year, times in different projects or different things where we all have to work mega late, but we don't want that to be the norm. Like things can wait, shit can wait. Do you know what I mean? Like you will be more productive during your working hours if you do actually go to sleep and get your nighttime routine in. You can on these as well set a wind down alarm. So if you want an alarm to go off, you can go in and set that so it'll just tell you at like, I don't know, 9 p.m. or whatever you want it to be to just start winding down. And it just makes you really consciously aware of going, right, get off your phone, stop like being a busybody, stop doing what you're doing and just relax so you can get into that sleep state. But that's kind of what I would say. So, do we? Let me just stop that share so I can actually see the chat a bit easier. I think we've got a few bits in. Sometimes I snooze 3 times. I think we'd all be lying if we said sometimes we don't all do it. I think from time to time we do, but we want to try and move out of that. And that's a really good kind of self challenge to go, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that. For the rest of this week, I'm not going to hit the snooze button once. And you say it with conviction, you mean it, and you deliver on the promise. That's going to make a massive difference. It's a teeny tiny thing, but actually, one, it's going to give you an extra half an hour in your damn day, if assuming it's set to 9 minutes. Two, it's also not going to put you into that groggy mental state. So you're probably going to be a slightly better, more productive version of yourself by not doing it. So give it a go. Try and put my phone across the room so when it goes off in the morning, I have to get up. It's hard sometimes, but once you're up, you're good to go. Haven't done it recently, but I'll be doing this again. Absolutely, Jem. Also, try and go to the gym for 5 a.m. before work sometimes. So I set my alarm for 4:30. Should I be waking up at the same time? That one's tricky because you're almost like it's a bit of a juxtaposition, isn't it? Because it's like, so most of the women I would say inside of this program who do get up and go to the gym at 5 a.m. because there's quite a few of them, but they have to be up at that time every single day. That's the only time they're likely to be able to make the gym. Or what they will do if it's not a gym day, they'll get the steps in or something early. But I wouldn't necessarily say they lie in on non-gym days. It's a good question. I would put that in the group. I would ask the group, the community, for the women who do get up early, what do you do on the days where you don't go to the gym? Do you still get up as early? Because I don't want to speak on their behalf. I feel like they do still get up, but I might be wrong. Or what they might do is more of their aerobic, like I say, their aerobic side of the exercise with more like running or something like that on the other days. But ask the question and get the answer from the horse's mouth rather than my assumption of exactly what they might do. And yeah, you're right. It's always going to be easier in the summer. Longer days, it's going to be easier. But I would also say, if you don't need to be a part of the 5 a.m. wagon, like it used to be this whole, like in the world of entrepreneurship, business, startups, all of this, it was like, get up at 5 a.m. Rah! And it's like this huge thing. If you don't need to, I like sleep. I don't get up at 5 a.m. I do a bit more now, but not by choice. I'm sitting there going, fucking hell, calm your brain. I'm supposed to be calm right now. We're supposed to be sitting there, and I'm thinking, I can't fucking sleep. I'm not that fucking calm. But you want to try and be calm. But this is it. If you don't need to, I would do it on the other days. If it were me, but you've got to find what works for you. Like this isn't a dictatorship. It's to each their own. Unrelated question. For what difference does it make doing RDLs with the dumbbells rather than the barbells? Personally prefer doing them with the barbell as I find it easier to go heavier with straps. So, fun fact, you can use straps on dumbbells as well. Is it fiddlier? Is it fiddlier? No, I wouldn't say it's fiddlier. I think what you have to do is kind of butt the dumbbells up against each other so they're not wobbling around the place. You've got to like, I would put them on the bench, or on the floor, like it doesn't really matter, but just butt them up so it's almost like a T shape, so you can kind of get one wrapped around and then the other, and you can leverage the dumbbell against each other, whereas obviously the bar is fixed. In all honesty, there is a little bit of a difference. So, one, if you think about the dumbbells, they're actually going to be traveling slightly more to the sides of your body. So, they're not as much in front of you. They are slightly more, a little bit further to the side, if that makes sense. Whereas the bar is always going to be traveling directly in front of you. It's like, trap bar is another form of RDL, and the trap bar typically you would like it would be directly to the sides of you, so it wouldn't be in front, it wouldn't be kind of diagonal, it would be directly to the side. So you are going to slightly shift the muscle groups. There is no right and wrong. I like everybody to be an absolute weapon on everything, is my rule of thumb. If you're training in a gym, I want everybody to have the confidence to be able to go up to the weights, like the standalone weights. I want everybody to have the confidence to go up to the barbells. I want it to be like familiar and have great form on both, because if you can't get on a squat rack, you can go over to the dumbbells. Like it's always going to be that. Some people also get really bored of doing the same thing. I don't. I'm like a creature of habit. I wanted to write my next program in Norway. I didn't. Also, my nephew fucking took out my right knee, so I can't do certain exercises anyway. But RDLs are absolutely fine. You will likely see me do barbell RDLs. However, I still remember the day when I had a 45 kilo in this arm and a 45 kilo in this arm, and I was repping those bad boys out. I have never felt more powerful. I can lift more on a barbell, but I've never felt more insanely incredible than that moment doing it with the individual weights. It is harder to do it with the individual weights, by the way, rather than the bar is just, you've got a bit more stability with the bar, I would argue, and it's easier to load and unload than the individual weight. So there's no right, there's no wrong. It definitely is personal preference. I'm not going to fight anyone if they say I really would rather do it like this. That's fine. But I do like everybody to follow their programs to the best of their ability, unless we've got injuries or reasons why we need to switch and change. I just think it is best practice to learn everything, shake things up a little bit, and just move through like the structure of what we ideally want to be doing. So, but it's not right or wrong. It's yeah, you're always going to prefer. So some people prefer a goblet squat to a low bar back squat, or some people prefer, I don't know, like I was going to say a sissy squat to a leg extension, but those words will never pass anyone's lips ever. Some people love a Bulgarian split squat. Some people fucking hate them. But they all have their job. They all do their thing. Always early. No idea what we're talking about there. Sorry, Louise. I can't remember. It is more fiddly. It is definitely fiddlier to get those straps on. But again, that's really good practice to go, right, I find this fiddlier. I've just got to master the technique to get those straps on. Also, I was watching the girl next to me in the gym this morning. I can't help myself, by the way. I have to compete with people. She was doing barbell RDLs next to me, and I thought, I can't let her win. I know I shouldn't be lifting as heavy, not because I'm pregnant, I would still do it, but just because I've got a few aches and pains and went skiing and all of this, I just need a bit more rest. But I was like, I've got to fucking beat her. I need to win. And I did win, for the record. I did win. And I was very happy with that. But she was putting on straps really early for like the first couple of sets, and I was a bit like, I would be amazed if her grip strength is not good enough. And I might be wrong. Everybody's grip strength is completely different. Like you can't read that by watching somebody, but she did get up to like, what did she get up to? Probably 50, 60 kilograms. And I thought, you didn't need those straps at like 20 on the bar and 30. Like, do you know what I mean? So try not to rely on them until you actually need to rely on them, because that's also what gets your grip strength better. So don't just automatically go for grips on your warm-up sets to get up to your working sets. Do you know what I mean? Like you bring them in when you need to. Like I can even do, I'd say probably 80 kilograms without them. But obviously, I've been lifting for years and years and years. Like to you guys, that might be 30 kilos as a comparable for where you're at. But it's just a reminder not to use them for absolutely everything until you actually start to think, oh, but also as a reminder, they are beneficial, excuse me. If you're not using them, you should be once your grip strength is starting to give way. So your glutes are always going to be more powerful than this muscle that runs down here. Always, your glutes are the largest muscle in your entire physique. This is one of the smallest. So when you do feel it going, you've got to get those straps in. Otherwise, you're just preventing the gains. And we all want a nice juicy booty. It's also where you're going to burn more fucking calories. The bigger that ass, the more calories you burn. Um, right, do we have any other questions? Anything at all while you've got me? Because in about 5 minutes I shall be asleep. Not quite. I need to wind down off these, but does anyone have anything else? I'm trying to think anything else that came up. I feel like there were a couple of things, but I think we did address them in the group chat. Nothing major springs to mind anyway. But of course, you can use your group chats at any point in the week and we'll answer those questions as well. Right. I think we're good, aren't we? We're all good? All good in the hood. Right, I will love you and leave you all then. So, again, check in with us anytime you need us. We will be available whenever you need us to be. Again, as a reminder, please send through any form checks that you wish for us to check in on. We don't want any injuries inside of the program. And have an amazing week. And we'll be having a quick stalk of everyone's accounts on Wednesday, making sure we're moving and a shaking. And then, obviously, as a reminder to do your check ins. This is where you're going to get the most feedback. This is where we're going to make sure that we're doing the things and the stuff we should be doing. So, peace out, and we'll see you all later on in the week. Mwah. Bye.